For the first time in over 5 years, a UFC light heavyweight title will proceed without Jon Bones Jones. Welcome into this edition of MMA Live Extra. I'm Kerry Chow. After being stripped of his title, Jones that is, shortly after being involved in an alleged hit-and-run incident, Anthony Johnson and now Daniel Cormier will headline UFC 187. To preview, we bring in ESPN MMA writers Brett Okamoto and Reed Kuhn. Brett, we'll start with you. From Jones Rumble to Rumble Cormier, stylistically, is this actually a better fight?
I definitely wouldn't say it's a better fight. I think anytime you lose Jon Jones from a fight, it's not really going to improve the quality of it. This guy's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I think that it was an interesting fight between Jon Jones and Anthony Johnson. It's an interesting fight between Anthony Johnson and Daniel Cormier. One of the most interesting things, anytime you've got a guy like Rumble Johnson involved, is the knockout power. You know, this guy, I don't know how he did it, but somehow he cut down to 170 pounds and fought all those fights at welterweight, moved all the way up now to 205, and immediately the one concern you're going to have is how is his power going to translate? Is he still going to have that knockout power going from 170 pounds to 205 pounds? The answer is absolutely, he 100% does. This guy has the most power in the light heavyweight division. Now, that's not something that's going to be foreign to Daniel Cormier because he's been up there fighting at heavyweight. So I think that's one of the interesting things as we break down this fight to look at is the fact that Johnson moved up, the fact that DC is coming down. It sort of creates this interesting dynamic to it.
Speaking of that interesting dynamic, Reed, who do the numbers favor?
Well, across the stat line, they're actually very, very similar. If you look at their accuracy, the amount of cage control and pace that they put on, these guys are almost identical. But there's two things that are very different, and we've already heard about one of them. The knockout power of Rumble Johnson is through the roof, and that is a very different dynamic for this matchup that you did not have with Jon Jones in the cage. He wasn't really known for his one-punch knockout power. Rumble Johnson has it, and he has it in spades. So Daniel Cormier, it's all about his wrestling. Can he get close? Can he use his wrestling to mix up the fight, be aggressive, and win round to round? Otherwise, it's very even. So I think that's where this fight diverges, and that's why the betting lines are so close on this one.
So the numbers say it's going to be very even. Brett, do you agree?
I definitely agree. I think this is one of those fights, you hear the saying sometimes, if these guys fought 100 times, they each might win 50. It's about who's better on that particular night. Johnson has the power advantage, the advantage to finish the fight at any moment, but I think DC has a little bit more just competing experience. You know, this is a guy who was a former Olympic wrestler. I think he's got that experience now of fighting 5 rounds. He fought Jon Jones less than 4 months ago, and now he gets to come in and get a second opportunity, something that you don't see happen very often. So I think it's a very close fight. Intangibles, I slightly lead to Daniel Cormier, though.
All right, we all agree it's going to be a close fight. Reed, who's actually going to win?
I'm actually leaning on the underdog here. So a little disagreement is fine. I think Rumble Johnson just has too much power, and he has learned how to keep his distance from fighters. So he's going to stay away from Cormier, not allow him to get close, and he's just going to be the more powerful, more effective striker. We saw it against Phil Davis. I think he's the new champion.
Disagreement is good, and I think that it shows once again that this is a 50-50 fight. You got people on either side of the coin. I'm going to pick Daniel Cormier. I think as long as he does not get knocked out in the first round, the first 2 rounds, he's going to be able to push the pace, get the fight to where he wants it, which is on the ground, and he could finish Anthony Johnson there or ride it out to a decision.
Disagreement is fantastic. Reed liking Rumble, Brett liking Cormier. UFC 187 in Las Vegas. MMA Live Extra will be there, so keep it on ESPN.com's MMA page for all your UFC 187 coverage. For Reed Kuhn and Brett Okamoto, I'm Kerry Chow. Thanks for watching.